Welcome back into another edition of Prime Sports World. I'm your host, David On Point Huffman, joined by our co-panelist, Mr. Matthew James in the house. Please like, share, and subscribe to the podcast. On today's episode of the show, we are going to give you our mock draft 5.0 and the final mock draft before the draft gets started in just about an hour and a half. So get your popcorn ready. All the action we should see is round one of the NFL draft. Should be very, very exciting. And this is just the beginning of our NFL coverage that we have planned for you over the next couple of weeks. Tomorrow, we're going to give you our winners and losers from the first round. We're going to talk a little bit about free agency next week. We're going to do a full draft recap next week as well. So just keep an eye out for all that NFL content as we give you the best we can here at Prime Sports World. So please like, share, and subscribe to the podcast, whether you're watching us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, however you watch us. Give us a like and a share and subscribe. Matt James, happy Thursday, my friend. How are you doing?
Doing well. Happy draft day. So one of my favorite times of the year, kind of getting football, going again on, actual national television. So it's exciting.
Yeah, I do enjoy the draft. I do enjoy free agency. Like, there's nothing about NFL offseason stuff that I don't really enjoy. We did have a big time trade. We will talk about it when we get to the Giants' second pick in this particular mock draft. It's actually a pretty rare trade. We don't normally see defensive ends get traded for top 10 picks. It's actually extremely rare. I think the last time it happened was in like 93. Don't quote me at that. I might have hit the number wrong, but it's pretty rare stuff where you see a defensive tackle get traded for a top 10 pick. We'll talk about that when we get to it, because it does shake up many people's mock drafts. I was actually not thinking about even doing another one. But then because of that Giants trade, it kind of shifted my mock draft that I did a couple, like last week, actually. So I felt it was like, we got to talk about this a little bit. Let's get into it. Let's start with the first overall pick. If you're new here to Prime Sports World, please like, share, and subscribe to the podcast. I'm David Huffman. There's Matt James. And the worst kept secret in all of the NFL. Matt, who you got the Raiders taking for number one overall?
I'd be crazy if I didn't take them. I got Fernando Mendoza.
Yeah, he's the best quarterback prospect in this class. I mean, the Raiders need a quarterback. So I think he's a no-brainer home run, glove to hand player and comp. And I think because of some of the other moves that they made this offseason, he might not even start for a while for them.
I mean, that's not the worst thing in the world. I mean, it is kind of rare to take quarterback at number one and not have him start right away. But at the same time, I mean, you see quarterbacks, take some time to go in and learn. Off the bench.
It sort of feels very similar to the Jacoby Brissett, Drake May situation from 2 years ago. Like, the plan was for, Jacoby Brissett to be the starter for the New England Patriots and for Drake May to take over, at some point, right? But like Jacoby Brissett got hurt and the plan changed and things quickly escalated. NFL.com, or actually CBS Sports, they have the player comp to Mendoza as Matt Ryan. I don't watch a ton of college football, so I don't know if that's a good comparison or not. But I just know from watching interviews of him since the Natty, the guy seems like a stand-up guy, like a really just one of those guys you can kind of root for. 2025 Heisman Trophy, went on to win the national championship, and balled out in all of those games heading into the national championship. This is great. Yeah, the Raiders they're going to not even think about this too much. The fact that we haven't even seen this is going to be he's going to be a good player.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, he's a good kid, good head on his shoulders, good family. It seems like I saw something earlier about them starting I forget what the foundation was for, but he's got one going. So it seems like should have a positive impact with that at least.
Let me see if I can find it. So yeah, he launched a Friendota. It's a MS research for multiple sclerosis. So
That's right.
good for him. Moving on from there, let's talk about where the draft actually starts, and that's at number 2 for the New York Football Jets. And I have them going into the state of Ohio, and I have them taking Arvell Reese, linebacker out of Ohio State. And get used to hearing people coming from Ohio State, as there are going to be a lot of prospects in this draft and in this mock draft that we're doing the top 10 of that came out of Ohio State. He's ready to go. I mean, he should be a very good edge rusher. They just traded Jeremiah Johnson this offseason and brought back the kid from Texas, Devontae Sweat. Arvell Reese should be a plug-and-play starter day one. He's got the prototypical size, 6'4", 243 pounds. He had 6.5 sacks last year, 69 tackles, 10 tackles for loss. I mean, the dude is just built to play football. 4.46 in the 40-yard dash as well. Had crazy combine numbers.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, he was obviously great at Ohio State. They always bring in, fantastic players into the NFL. As you see, half the draft picks might be, from the Buckeye State. I'm going to go with David Bailey again, the edge from Texas Tech, who had an excellent season on a very, very solid Texas Tech defense. So I'm sticking with my number 2, with David Bailey.
I don't necessarily hate that. I mean, he's got the prototypical size as well. Hold on, where is it?
He had 14 and a half sacks.
Yeah,
76 tackles.
CBS.com has his player comp as Vic Beasley, so hopefully his NFL career goes better than Vic Beasley's does. But yeah, 4.5 in the 40-yard dash for a guy who's 6'4", 250 pounds, 35-inch vert, 10.5 feet broad jump. Like, people that big shouldn't be able to do stuff like that, right? Like, it's just bananas.
No, not at all. I mean, he's got the size and quickness. So, yeah, I have him staying at number 2.
Moving on from there, we have the Arizona Cardinals on the clock. And your adopted football team, the Arizona Cardinals, there in Phoenix, or I guess Glendale, Arizona. Matt James, who do you got the Cardinals taking at this pick number 3?
I do not. I mixed mine up a bit. I have them trading back with the Giants.
Oh, okay.
To get more draft picks, and I have the Giants taking Arvell Reese.
That's super interesting. So they giving up for both first round picks in order to move up, or how are they?
No, just the number 5 and future picks.
Okay. So they're probably going to have to give up a second, maybe in this year's draft or next year's draft, or to facilitate that. Okay, Arvell Reese, as we just talked about, 6'4", 243 pounds. And funny enough, Matt, I also have the Cardinals shipping this pick away, but not to the Giants. I'm going to a different team in the NFC East. I got the Dallas Cowboys moving all the way up from 13 or 12. Sorry, 12. They're going to have to trade up a haul because this is a big time move up. They're going to trade 12, 20, and a second round pick next year in order to move up. And they're also going to be going back to Columbus, Ohio. But they're not going with Arvell Reese because he's already off the board. I'm going Sonny Styles, the linebacker at Ohio State, man. The guy who destroyed the combine, 6'5", 243 pounds. He has a trade Edmonds comp on CBS.com, 2025 second team All-American. One of 3 players at FBS with 100 tackles, 10 tackles for loss, 5 sacks, and 5 pass deflections. 4.46 at the 40-inch vert, 43.5-inch vert, 11-foot broad jump, 4.26 shuttle. Man, just a crazy combine numbers. The dude should be a plug-and-play starter. I think the Cowboys in this, you're hoping that this guy can turn into your Micah Parsons replacement. He didn't have the crazy sack numbers at Ohio State, but I think he has that total prototypical size and prototypical build where he could become that guy.
Yeah, I got Sonny Styles We're at number or
Hold on,
Cardinals.
hold on. Well, we'll move on. Yeah, we're moving on to
Oh,
pick number 4. You got the Tennessee Titans on the clock.
I
All right,
got
man,
them
James.
taking Sonny Styles and everything you said, plus the fact that he has a speed from transferring over to linebacker from being a safety. So, I mean, the Titans were pretty much a mess defensively, especially last season. And yeah, he'll play day one at the shore up the middle there. So you said Trey Edmonds, right?
Yeah, that's what
Was his,
CBS.com has.
yeah.
CBS.com has. I have the Tennessee Titans trading this pick just like the way we did this last
Mm.
time we talked about mock draft. I still have this pick being traded to the Washington Commanders. I still have them going with Jeremiah Love, the running back out of Notre Dame, 6 foot, 214 pounds. CBS.com has his pro comp as Jahmyr Gibbs. 2025 Doak Walker Award, nation's top running back. He led FBS with 8 plays of 20 yards or more, a 4.36 in the 40-yard dash. You don't find running back prospects as good as this and as polished as this on a regular basis. Give me Washington Commanders trading up. They're going to have to trade this year's first, which is 7th overall, and then they're going to have to trade a second-round pick next year because the Commanders do not have a second-round pick this year.
Yeah, I mean, Jeremiah Love is, should be the next coming star running back in the league. I watched some of the Notre Dame games, and he's got so many tools, quick speed, can get to the end zone, good hands. Yeah, he's not my number 4, though.
We'll
I'm
see where he
going
ends up
with
going in
him.
your mock draft. Moving on for pick number 5. You got the New York Football Giants on the clock, and this is about to be 3 out of 5 picks are going to be going from the Ohio State Buckeyes. This time we got the safety Caleb Downs going to the New York Giants, and the thought process here is Harbaugh gets his, Kyle Hamilton 2.0 in a new place. 6 foot tall, 205 pounds. His pro comp by CBS.com is Earl Thomas. Career 6 DB named unanimous All-American twice, along with Deion Sanders and Eric Berry. 2 of those guys are in the Hall of Fame. Only DB with 250 tackles, 15 tackles for loss, and 5 picks over 3 seasons in the FBS. Should be a plug-and-play day one starter. And if he ends up turning out anything like Earl Thomas, the Giants are going to be very happy. And Christian Simpson, he did just post his final mock draft over there at the dailyblitz.blog. He's also answering fans' questions as well. So go check out over there at dailyblitz.blog and all the stuff that Christian Simpson's doing. And there's your shameless plug number 1. Christian, love you, brother. Man.
All right, we just spoke about him, and he's going to the Cardinals. Jeremiah Love, running back. I mean, as I said, he has all the tools. And we'll talk more about the Cardinals and my expectations. I feel like they're going to be busy this weekend, but they're taking with their first pick at number 5, Jeremiah Love in my mock.
Moving on from there, we have the Cleveland Browns on the clock. They have a ton of team needs. It's a team that's kind of in shambles. Needs to figure out a lot of stuff going on with their franchise. But what do you got them doing with the 6th overall pick in your mock draft, Matt?
Had them kind of all over, but I'm sticking with Carnell Tate. Sticking hometown. One of the top receivers in the draft. I mean, there's going to be a few good receivers that should be going the top 15, top 20 here. But I'm going to go with Ohio State, Carnell Tate, Cleveland Browns, number 6.
I've been basically mock drafting Carnell Tate to the Cleveland Browns like literally every time I've done one. So I decided to shake things up a little bit because I would legitimately be pretty shocked if he doesn't end up becoming a Cleveland Brown. They need a wide receiver in the worst way. Jerry Jeudy is just not it. Neither is Cedric Coleman, Cedric Tillman, who are fine players. They're just not needle movers at the wide receiver position. Their major needs are wide receiver, offensive tackle, corner, and then edge. this is another team that could potentially try to move back if they can find a suitor that wants to. But I'm going to have them stick where they are. I'm going to have them address their offensive line because they've needed to address it in big time way. I have them going Frank. Just Big Frank. I don't know how to pronounce that last name. I'm sorry. I just don't want to try. Mayagoa. That sounds right. Maybe.
Penn State. Yeah.
No. He plays he goes for the U. He's probably the best offensive tackle in this draft class. 6'6", 329 pounds. Should be he was a day one starter for the Hurricanes, and so spent 3 seasons as a starter there for that team. He should be a day one starter. Tevin Jenkins is his comp for CBS.com. 2025 consensus All-American. He did not allow a sack last season at all. 5-star recruit, number 6 overall player in the class of 2023 when he was coming out of high school. This dude is just a mammoth human being and should be a day one plug-in starter. Gives Sidor some little bit of protection there on the right side, on the left side, because they're going to need it because his offensive line was abysmal last season, and they got to do something to try to protect Sidor Sanders or Deshaun Watson, whoever ends up being the quarterback for this football team next season for the Cleveland Browns.
Yep. No, I like the pick. I mean, they need protection as bad as anybody that makes it to the top 10. So
yeah. Moving on from there, number 7, we got the Washington Commanders on the clock, at least in your mock draft. In mine, this is the Tennessee Titans, and I have the Tennessee Titans getting their boy some help in Cam Ward. But I have them also going back to Ohio State. And if you're keeping track at home, that's 4 out of 7 picks from the University of Ohio State. Ohio State University, the Ohio State University. That's wide receiver Carnell Tate. Obviously, the Titans have a bunch of other needs as well. Just going by NFL Mock Draft Database.com. Running back, edge, linebacker, and then wide receiver. But yeah, I have them Carnell Tate. Prototypical size to be a number 1 wide receiver, 6'2", 190 pounds. His pro comparison is Corey Davis on CBS.com. I would hope that his career goes better than Corey Davis, because if you remember, who drafted Corey Davis? The Titans. The Titans drafted Corey Davis. What are you talking about? But yeah, he came out of a MAC school. I think, was it Western Michigan? Yeah, Western Michigan. Hopefully Carnell Tate ends up becoming a better pro than Corey Davis was. But 4.53 in the 40-yard dash, led FBS with 6 touchdowns on the air, throws up 30 air yards or more. And then he had a career high in receiving yards last season at 838 and 9 receiving touchdowns. The dude is just a prototypical number 1 wide receiver and should give a valuable weapon to Cam Ward, because he was doing a lot with not a whole lot there last season for the Titans. For you, though, it's the Washington Commanders on the clock at number 7. Matt, talk to me.
I'm going Ruben Bain Jr., who you had in the last week's, think top 5, or did you have him right around here at like 6 or 7?
I don't remember anymore. I've changed up my mock. I've done 2 mock drafts since the last one that me and you did together, and I used the same document, and I don't realize. So
did I. That's why I'm kind of bouncing around right now. But I mean, the kid is another massive on the line, edge player, coming from the U, which they had a tremendous season. Powerful, good speed. So they're gonna love this pick, because Washington's getting, from what I remember, pretty old on defense. So they need to get younger.
I mean, they've been dusting off Von Miller. I think that was last season. They had Von Miller. I mean, they need to inject some youth into that defense for sure. I know they signed some players in the offseason, but there still doesn't really move the needle. And Ruben Bain Jr. should be a game changer for this defense for the Washington Commanders. From the Washington Commanders, we're going to swing into the Bayou and take it on the New Orleans Saints with the 8th overall pick. Their major needs here are wide receiver, edge, corner, and linebacker. Matt, do you have addressing any of those needs with this 8th overall pick?
And they're going to stick with the Bayou. LSU corner Mansour Delane, who I think, they probably know a little bit about him being in-state school. I think he's one. Actually, he might be the top corner in this
Uh,
draft.
yeah, I mean
One of them.
it's either him or the kid from Tennessee are kind of 1 and 2. And
Yeah.
just a quick spoiler. This is actually who I have the Saints going with as well. I have them also staying down in the Bayou and taking Mansour Delaney, 6 foot, 187 pounds at the cornerback position. Senior. I know he didn't play last season or 2 seasons ago because of an injury, but the dude was just awesome last season in college for the LSU Tigers, which has become DBU. I mean, you look at the defensive backs that have come out of LSU, have gone on to be good pros. The list just goes on and on and on and on. Kamari Lassiter is the comparison that they've made on CBS.com. And if you get a corner as good as Kamari Lassiter here for the Saints, I mean, it could be a complete game changer for your defense. 2025 unanimous All-American. He allowed 14 catches in college last season. 14.
That's crazy.
Lowest passer rating allowed in the SEC. 11 pass deflections, tied for the second most in the SEC. Just was super good at the cornerback position, and should be another one of those that comes out of the LSU, ends up being a day one contributor to the New Orleans Saints and this defense.
No, absolutely. I mean, that's what, one pass catch against him a game almost.
Yeah,
on average, which you don't see very often.
That's like just stupid,
especially
numbers,
in the SEC.
Yeah.
So
moving on from there, we have the Kansas City Chiefs shockingly picking in the top 10 after kind of just a season that fell apart for Kansas City. I've had Kansas City go a bunch of different ways in every mock draft that I've done so far. But in this particular mock draft, I have them going edge. And David Bailey is still here on my board. The senior edge out of Texas Tech, 6'4", 250 pounds. As I mentioned, his pro comp is Vic Beasley, 4'5" in the 40, 35 yard. Can you imagine? 35-inch vertical and then 10 feet broad jump. 2025 unanimous All-American, second in FBS in pressures at 81, just behind Ruben Bain, who will be in this. I will mention they had 14.5 sacks last season. Just an absolute man-child at the defensive end position, and should be a guy that takes some of that pressure off of Chris Jones for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, I had them going a few different directions, and mainly offensively. I mean, there's still some solid tackles and guard Ione from Penn State. I was kind of bouncing between him and Spencer Fano from Utah, offensive tackle. But I looked at my draft board, and they need a receiver. And Jordan Tyson is sitting there waiting for them at this point. So I have Jordan Tyson going to Kansas City.
Pitchforks up, right?
Pitchforks up. I mean, if he can stay healthy, he would easily be the top receiver in this draft. The kid makes pretty much every catch, 50-50 balls, has the size, speed, agility. Yeah, he just needs to, stay healthy and get in there and play more games. He's definitely going to be one of Mahomes' favorite guys.
I also think that Kansas City, like when we were talking about this tomorrow, they could be a team that is looking to trade down and maybe pick up extra draft capital, because the way their major needs are corner. Really, they need a corner worse than any team in the NFL right now. And the way it shook out in both of our mock drafts, the corner is gone that you could take in the top 10. There's a kid from Tennessee, but he's coming off an injury where he didn't even play last season. I don't know if you want to take a gamble like that on a team that's going to want to compete for a Super Bowl next season. And if you're Kansas City, you get the opportunity to trade back because their major needs corner, edge, wide receiver, offensive tackle. I think Kansas City could be a team that we're talking about tomorrow that maybe doesn't even have a pick in the first round because they trade out of this pick. I guess they have 2, so I guess they're for sure going to make at least one selection. But I wouldn't be surprised if they're on the phone with the Cowboys trying to move back with them, or some other team that has 2 first-round picks in this upcoming draft.
No, absolutely, especially if it does fall that way.
Yeah.
With Delaney going ahead of them. I mean, as you said, who is it? McCoy, the corner from Tennessee, Jermon
Yeah.
McCoy.
Yeah.
He's late first, mid second projection. So I mean, they do need a lot more
I think that
than keeping this.
corner. I think the kid from Tennessee is going to be like a top. He's going to go in the top 15 picks. I think. We're in my mock draft. Actually, the one if I go through the whole thing, I have him going. Where is it? I have him going 15 to Tampa Bay. So. But yeah, moving on from there, the New York Football Giants are now on the clock, given that they made a trade yesterday, or I guess it was on Monday, where they traded the Cincinnati Bengals traded for Dexter Lawrence for this top 10 pick, just straight up. And by the way, if you're one of those historian people who enjoys just the NFL history, the last time a player was traded for a straight up top 10 pick that had no other draft capital involved in the trade was in 2005 between the Raiders and the Vikings. Do you know who was traded and where he was traded? Do you know who the player who was traded in 2005?
2005.
Yeah, between the Vikings and the Raiders.
I do not know.
It's one that he's on GOAT status, probably one of the top 5 receivers all time.
Randy Moss.
Randy Moss was traded for the number 7th overall pick in 2005. That is the last time that a player was traded for a top 10 pick without anything else being involved in the trade. So it's the Dexter Lawrence trade between the Giants and the Bengals is pretty rare. Let's talk about it for just a second. What do you think about that deal for both sides?
I mean, we've been talking about Dexter Lawrence and their issues, his issues with, the Giants and the organization and, possibly getting traded earlier. So I'm not surprised. The only thing I'm surprised about is the fact that they did get the top 10 pick. And they were patient enough to do so. So, I mean,
yeah, I
find it to be a great thing for the Giants.
I did not anticipate them getting this kind of draft capital back for Dexter Lawrence. I figured they would get maybe a second or a third round pick for a guy who's under contract for a little bit. I mean, he's got 2, 3. Oh, I mean, the Bengals did extend him out of his contract, so he's under contract till 2027, I think, or 2028, 3 years. But I mean, if you're the Cincinnati Bengals, you kind of need to be in a position to win now. And unfortunately, somebody that you take at the 10th overall pick is not going to be the contributor that Dexter Lawrence is. And so you putting that into mine, I think for the Bengals, I give this a C, because Dexter Lawrence has said how much money he wants to make. And if you're the Cincinnati Bengals, who is a notoriously cheap franchise, you're going to have to pay him eventually. I mean, you gave up some serious draft capital. For the Giants, I think it's an A. The fact that you were able to get a top 10 pick from Cincinnati and, a guy that didn't want to be there, you may have had to release if things didn't work out. For you to get a top 10 pick, I think is a home run. I'd be interested to see what Christian's thoughts are on this trade. I'm pretty sure he's got an article over there on the Daily Blitz.blog for shameless plug number 2, Christian. Love you, brother. But I think both these teams did well. I mean, if you're the Bengals, the next season's got to be the season that you're going to be competitive. I mean, everybody is up for their jobs in Cincinnati. And if you have another season where things underachieve, maybe Joe Burrow doesn't become as fond of staying in Cincinnati. So I think this is a trade you had to make on both sides. So with that being said, the Giants are now on the clock at pick number 10, and I have them adding another weapon to this offense. They lost Londale Robinson in free agency, so I got them going back to the Arizona State. Pitchforks up, baby. Jordan Tyson ends up becoming a New York Football Giant. Pair him up with Malik Neighbors, 6'2", 230 pounds. CBS has his comp as Jerry Jeudy. Led all of the Big 12 in receptions, 136 last season, second in receiving yards. Actually, this is 2 years ago, 24-25, 136 yards, 1,800 receiving yards, 18 touchdowns in 2 seasons as a member of the Big Ten. He 26 reps on the bench press. I don't think he did any of the other drills due to some injury stuff. But this is a guy that has the prototypical size to be a big-time receiver and should be an excellent complement to Malik Neighbors there in New York.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, Giants get him paired up with Scadaboo too, so they'll be playing together again. So I got the Giants keeping this and taking Caleb Downs, who's still on my board here. I mean, fantastic safety. I mean, as you said earlier, Giants fans will love him. So I got Caleb Downs going at 10.
And then, as we get closer and closer to the draft, we'll just go through. So I did a full mock draft. I just want to give you some of the standout picks here from mock draft number 5.0. So the Arizona Cardinals on my mock draft traded up with the Dallas Cowboys. In that trade, they got 2 first-round picks. They got 12, which was originally owned by the Dallas Cowboys. And with the 12th overall pick, I think you're going to like this, Matt. They take Ruben Bain Jr., the defensive end out of Miami, who's still here at 12, which, seems like I don't know if this is exactly how things are going to shake out because CBS.com has Ruben Bain as their second best prospect. And I know there's concerns about his arm length, but I think a lot of that's just way overblown. 6'2", 263 pounds. His pro comp is Melvin Ingram, who had a very nice career. ACC Defensive Player of the Year, Ted Hendricks Award for nation's top defensive end, 63 pressures, most in FBS, 9.5 sacks last season, 5 in the college football playoff as he kind of willed Miami to that natty appearance against Indiana. All of the arm stuff is fine, but that doesn't test motor. And I think what Ruben Bain really shines is his motor and his want to be good at it. He just wanted it. He just wants it more than most people.
Yeah, no, I mean, if it falls that way, then he'd be a great compliment with who they just got a year or two ago with Josh Sweat.
Yeah, last year
on the other side. So, I mean, that's what the Cardinals need to do is, get the defense shored up a bit with a deep class that they can do it with the linemen and actually pretty much the whole defense. You can get pretty good plug in day one players. So,
and then skipping a couple picks, swinging all the way down to number 16. This pick was originally owned by the New York Football Jets, but in my mock draft, it's the Bears. They have traded the 25th overall pick along with their second-round pick next year, and they're finally going to address their edge because they haven't really done it in free agency. I would have loved for the Bears to have tried to have gotten Dexter Lawrence from the New York Giants. I mean, I would have given up 25, and I would have given up this same trade package for Dexter Lawrence. I think he would have been a perfect complement to what we have in Montez Sweat. But since we're going to go the youth direction, I got them taking Akeem Mesidor out of Miami, the 6'3" edge, 259 pounds, top 5 FBS in sacks, 12.5, 17.5 tackles for loss, 67 total pressures. And then in the college football playoff, 5.5 sacks in 4 games, 23 pressures against the creme de la creme, allegedly in college football. The dude is just going to be an absolute monster at the next level. His pro comp is Olivier Vernon. Hopefully, his NFL career goes better than Olivier Vernon. One of the other concerns about Akeem Mesidor, he's a little bit older. He's coming in as a project. I think he's already going to be 25 years old, but he should be a day one starter that you can contribute immediately to a Bears team that needs to get better pressure under the quarterback.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I have them keeping that 25th and just waiting to see what kind of falls to them. I have R. Mason Thomas to be a name to look after. But if one of these two fall, Katie McDaniel or Neil Warren, I feel like one of those two will be their pick.
Okay. And then sticking with that, jumping down a little bit further. Actually, we can go to Detroit. So at 17, I got the Detroit Lions. I have them taking Spencer Fano, the offensive tackle out of Utah. It addresses a major need for the Detroit Lions. Just talking about that because staying in the NFC North, one of the major needs for Detroit is their offensive line kind of has fallen apart. It used to be like one of the stalwarts of the Detroit Lions over the last few seasons, but as we've seen, those guys have gotten older. Some of them have started to retire. So Spencer Fano should be a day one plug and play starter at the offensive tackle position, either at right or left tackle. I guess left tackle because they have Penei Sewell at right tackle, who's arguably the best tackle in the NFL.
Yeah. I got one of the things I've been looking at was where this could happen. I have the Cardinals and the Rams. I think Ty Simpson will end up with, but the Rams don't. One of them I feel like is either the Rams will have to trade back because I don't think he's.
I don't think you're taking Ty. I don't think you're taking Ty Simpson at
The
13.
first, no.
Yeah, so you'd have to get a team that wants to trade up, like the Bears, if they can get up to 13, and I think the Bears should be a prime trade up candidate. Like I think they should be like I don't care about next year's draft capital. Like the Bears should be trying to win this year, and if you can get another edge rusher to add to this pass rush, I don't care about any of the draft capital next year. I'll give it all, trade it all away. We should be trying to.
We have 2 second rounders this year too that we could trade up.
Yeah, so the Bears should be a prime trade up candidate. Like we have to address edge rusher. I don't think you can just hope and pray that somebody falls into your lap. I've seen a couple of mock drafts where we get T.J. Parker, the edge out of Clemson, which is fine. I mean, but I want a legitimate needle mover, and I think we have to trade. The Bears should be a prime trade up candidate. Whoever, like the Rams, if they want to trade back at 13, if the Chiefs want to trade back at 9. To take some of our draft capital. The Titans, if they want to trade up back again after they've already traded with the Commanders, the Bears should be trying to move into the top 10 or as close to the top 10 as they can. And then the Vikings on number 18, I have Dylan Thiemann, the safety out of Oregon. He basically becomes the Harrison Smith replacement there in Minnesota.
Yeah, I like that pick. They do need to address that position with Harrison Smith
retiring. Yeah, and he was a draft combine darling. He would just put up crazy numbers at the combine, and will be drafted way sooner than people think. And then at 19 or at 20, this is where the Arizona Cardinals are back on the clock with those 2 picks that they traded from the Dallas Cowboys. And I have them taking Ty Simpson, the quarterback out of Alabama. I think you get an opportunity to kind of sit there behind Jacoby Brissett, learn from a pro's pro. Then there's no real pressure to play him right away. And I think that's why if you're the Cardinals, trading back with Dallas and getting two first round picks and a second either this year or next year, and you leave that draft with, instead of just getting one player, you end up with Ruben Bain, who, if it wasn't the ridiculous arm length conversation, is a top 5 pick, and you get him at 12, and then you get Ty Simpson, who has some upside at the quarterback position, who could be a franchise guy.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I could see them trading up using one of their second rounds I gave them, and a third round with somebody, depending how aggressive they want to get. You might have to use both seconds. But as I said, I do see them definitely pursuing and going to try to be aggressive to get Ty Simpson. So, I mean, they need to get somebody to sit behind Brissett. I mean, if they have somebody else on their minds, great. But
yeah,
as much until later rounds. So, if I were them, go get Brissett. Then you got him learning on the bench, and you got your running back of the future with Jeremiah Love.
So as we get closer and closer to the start of the draft here, we got like 45 minutes, I think, or so. Just looking at the draft order, if you had which teams do you think are going to be poised to try to move up in this draft?
I mean, as you mentioned, Dallas is definitely one of them. Let me pull that back up real quick.
Yeah, I think Dallas is really. I think they're going to be really poised to try to move up. I think another one is the Washington Commanders. I think the Washington Commanders are going to want to try to move up in this particular draft.
But I mean, yeah, Dallas is definitely one I see that could move up into that 6 to 8 slot right there.
Yeah, another team that I think also could be poised to try to move up in this particular draft. I think the Buffalo Bills as well. They could be looking because I think they have similar needs to many of the teams in the NFL. But the Chicago Bears, for one, I mean, they need an edge rusher in the worst way, and it could be one of those things like, hey, well, let's try to address this now in the draft.
Yeah, I mean, look at San Francisco at 27 too, with all the injuries they've had, and I mean, players don't get younger, so I mean, they could, move up if they see somebody that they like.
I would actually make the argument that I think the 49ers are actually more likely to trade back than trade up. Because I think the San Francisco 49ers, as much as good as their roster was last season, how successful they ended up being, they have a lot of holes on their roster. They lost a lot of players in free agency, and like now they're gonna have to try to replace those guys. And it's not a roster, and it's a roster that continues to get older. And so if you're the 49ers and you have the opportunity to add draft capital in this draft and pick up a couple extra second round picks, I think you should do that.
Yeah. Sorry.
And I because I live in San Francisco, or I live in Oakland, but I cover the San Francisco area with the TV stations I work at. I think that I would be pretty shocked if I'm waking up in the morning to go to work and the San Francisco 49ers have actually used the 27th overall pick. I would be legitimately shocked.
Yeah. I mean, anything can happen. So
yeah. I mean, that's why you play the game, right?
Those crazy drafts, or it could just be straightforward. So I feel like it's going to be one way or another. A whole bunch of into the top 10, or moving up, moving back. Also, but that's just what I feel like could happen. It could be fun to watch.
We will find out together in just about 45 minutes as the draft gets ready to get started here. In Pittsburgh, Eastern Standard Time. We have a crew from the station I work at actually in Pittsburgh, just covering draft stuff. Because Fernando Mendoza actually went to Cal for 2 seasons before he transferred to Indiana. He's from like Boston or something, so he's not from the Bay Area. But we're pretty heavily invested in just like his story and like the fact that he came from Cal, then went to Indiana. How we spin stuff in TV.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. But yeah, thank you very much for joining us for Mock Draft 5.0. Hopefully your team does well in the draft. We are going to give you our winners and losers show tomorrow afternoon, where we dive into everything that happened in the first round and talk about who did well, who maybe reached for the teams, and who left a lot to be desired in the first round of the NFL draft. Thank you very much for joining us. We're keep an eye also for that show. Saturday, we are going to talk about WrestleMania week, as we're going to talk about the 2 nights of WrestleMania in Las Vegas, including the one night that I was there. And then we're going to talk about Monday Night Raw, SmackDown. That's all happening on Saturday in the afternoon. Just keep sharing, subscribing to Prime Sports World. We're going to continue to give you guys consistent content. I'm David Huffman, and right there, co-host Mr. Matthew James. And Matt, what we do here at the Prime, my friend.
Bring the heat.
Yes, sir. And do yourself a favor. When you get after the show's over, because I talked about this a little bit on the UFL show this morning, go watch Akeem Butler's 2 catches from the game that he played this weekend. Like, just nuts. Like, just watch them both. And then somebody messaged me on Facebook. Just watch Akeem Butler. He had 2 catches in the game against Battlehawks versus Defenders, but both of them were just bananas. It's like Akeem Butler is another man. So
yeah, I'll have to watch that before throwing on the draft here.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'll see you later, brother.
All right. Have a good night. Go Bears.
Peace out. Yeah, go Bears. Of course. Bear down.